Welcome to my channel. Today we will be discussing about a very new and interesting concept called first value and last value in SQL, and then we will convert the same in Pyspark. Okay, so we'll see how important and what its significance can be in window functions. So in window functions we have heard about row number, rank and lens rank. I have covered those topics in other videos which you can find in the playlist. So first value and last value, as you can see by the name, first value basically retrieves the first value of a partitioned data set. Okay, so let's say I have the window function where I have partitioned by a particular column, ordered by a particular column. So based on that windowed function, I'm going to get my first value with this function. Similarly, last value is to fetch the last value of that windowed function. Okay, so let's start with the example. So I have a table which I will create. So for this the prerequisites are nothing, just an online SQL editor and a Google Colab notebook. Just I don't have anything else downloaded, so you can just find these free versions on the internet. So let me create the table. The table is created. Now let me insert data into it. Done. So now I will just select from this table to see what data it has. Sorry for my bad throat. Thank you for bearing. Okay, so we see that the data that we have is, we have employee ID, we have employee name, we have department, we have performance month, we have the performance score. Okay, so employee ID 1, Alice, she is from the department sales, and she has a performance score of the 85 as of 2024 January. As of 2024 February, she has a performance score of 90, and as of 2024 March, she has a performance score of 88. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to find the first value and the last value, that's the first performance score and the last performance score of each employee. Okay, so let's go to coding. So if I have to use the functionality, so I'm just going to, oops, I'm sorry. So if I'm just going to select the employee name just to give a demonstration, and then we have first, so the function is first value, and which column I'm applying this on? I'm applying this on performance score. Okay, and then I'm going to have a window specification. That is where window function is used. So what I'm going to do is okay, so if I run this, what do I see? So you see the employee Alice, she has the first score of 85, and then also 85, and then also 85. So the first score for Alice is fetched. But why is it 3 times? Because in the original data set we had 3 entries for Alice, right? And then for Bob also we had 3 entries. So first value, what it does, it traverses through the entire data set. For example, Alice 3 times it traverses. For the first, it goes to the first line, it says the first value is this, it prints this 85 as the value for the first record, goes to the second, it sees, okay, for this employee Alice it's 85 only, so it prints 85, and third also it prints 85. That is why we have 3 entries for the first value record. Okay, now what we have done over here, how does this window function work? So we have partitioned by the employee ID, because it's very evident that employee ID is the unique key to differentiate, and then we have ordered by the performance month, but in ascending order, right? Why ascending order? Because we want to find that, so it's organized in ascending order. That means the first occurrence will give me the first value of that particular record. So this is our partition. Okay. So it's very pretty simple how first value works. Now we have worked on things like row number, right? So row number also, or rank or tens rank, we do this partition, right? We partition by a column where we basically grouping by this particular column, and then we order by another column or maybe the same column, just to organize the occurrences. Like this will be the first occurrence, that will be the second occurrence, that will be the third occurrence, and then we at last say that row number equal to 1. Just select the first occurrence of it, so depending on the use case. Now if I do the same thing on last value, I will see a difference. Okay, so last value is another function, it retrieves the last value. So as per our data set, the last value for Alice is 88, so 88 should come for all the 3 occurrences of Alice if I run this particular query, right? But that is not the case. What it is doing is it's traversing through the entire data set but returning the values as it is in each record. Okay, so one thing that we need to add over here is rows between unbounded preceding and unbounded following. What does this mean? That, so see, this is the data set, right? If it is traversing only for the first employee ID, so unbounded preceding means that the first record, precede means that the record that is prior to it, and unbounded following is what the last record is. Okay, so basically this clause means that it will traverse throughout the entire data set and fetch the last value of it. Okay, why was it not necessary in the first value? Because this is what it is. It does not have any preceding or it does not have any following, but for the last it has a preceding, right? And for the following, this means the current row. So this clause is important. Now if I run this, I see that for Alice 88 was the last record, so that has come. Okay, now how to solve it for the entire problem? So what I will do is, let me just copy and paste. So first I will select only the first value and the last value. Okay, so see, we have Alice first value as 85, then we have Alice 90, yeah, so we have the first score as 85, 85, 85, but there are 3 occurrences for each of the records, right? I have explained why it is coming 3 times. Now what do we need to do on this resultant data set that we have received from this query? We need to select the distinct records from each, right? For each record, for each resultant data set, only one record needs to be fetched. So what are we going to do? We are going to use a CTE, a common table expression. You will find a video on CTE in another video just prior to this. So let me create a CTE on top of this query. Okay, so this query is inside a CTE now, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the distinct records. Okay, so let me just copy the column names from here. Yep, so I'm going to just select the distinct columns from the CTE. Yep, so we have employee Alice, we have the department sales, the first score for Alice, the last score for Alice. Similarly for Bob and Charlie. Okay, so this is how we are solving the SQL query. Now when we go to Pyspark, it's very similar. So the first thing what we did for solving this, first, see, all this select and everything comes afterwards, right? The first thing that we did was to find the first value and the last value, right? So if we go inside the first value and the last value, so okay, let us break down. First we found the first value, let's say, okay, then we found the last value. Then on this resultant data set where we found the first value and the last value, we did the select distinct of all the columns, because this particular query was giving us 3 records each, but we wanted only 1 record, right? So very simple. If we break down, first we find the first value, then we find the last value, then on that data set we are selecting the distinct. Okay, so in Pyspark also same thing needs to be done. Now one more thing is here. If you see the first value window function, what does it say? It says that partition by employee ID and order by performance month ascending. Same goes for the window function in last value also, right? So what are we going to do? Instead of repeating it 2 times to find the first value and the last value, we are going to create a window specification in the beginning itself. Now I have come to my Pyspark. So as we know that we have to write this functions like the syntax in the top of the Pyspark code, then we build the Pyspark session, then we write the data, we have the data set written in form of a list, then we write the columns. So these columns act as the headers. So if you want to know how we can create the data frame out of it, it's explained in the very first video of this playlist. You can please refer to that. So we see that data frame is equal to, this is the code, spark.create data frame, and data we are passing the parameters. So data is this one where we have the data stored, and then schema is equal to columns. Okay, so we have basically variabilized this columns, the headers in a list, and then we are passing that okay, schema is equal to columns. So these data and schema needs to be there mentioned inside the parameters, because data frame will create a tabular format out of it. Okay, now after that, so we know that df.with column means that it's adding a new column. So what it is doing, we're doing just a type conversion, typecasting over here. We are just converting this particular column data type to date data type. Okay, nothing else. Then as I've said that we need a window specification. Okay, so we write that window specification. For what was the window specification for us? Partition by employee ID. So we have partition by employee ID, then we have order by performance month. So same thing, we have order by performance month. It's just a literal conversion of it, only the syntax is different. Not even different, it's just a dot in between, right? And then we have the rows between, where we had rows between unbounded preceding and unbounded following. So same syntax, only that rows between is a function over here, and then window dot. So see, we have already imported the window function from Pyspark. Okay, so we are just going to use that, it's inbuilt. So we are going to say window dot unbounded preceding comma window dot unbounded following. So this gives me the window specification. Now the next thing we need to do, we need to add 2 columns, right? First score and last score. So first, that is why we have df.with column. So the name of the column is first score. So instead of first value in Pyspark, we have first. So where are we applying first? We are applying first on the column performance score. So if you have the SQL code ready, you see it was on the performance score, and over where the window specification. So basically, instead of writing this whole thing 2 times, we have just variabilized it in the beginning. Just we need to mention the name of the window function. Okay, so what was the steps we needed? First, we create the first score and last score with the help of the functions, and then we select the columns and the distinct of it. So it's simple, just in 3 steps we have done it. Now we just show it and we get the result. So if this was helpful for you, you can give a like and subscribe and tell your friends to subscribe. Meet you in the next video. Thank you.